board meeting for October. Could we all stand for the invocation? Is going to give us?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity to meet and discuss the issues of town government. We pray that you would be present here and that all the conversations and discussions would be pleasing to you. We pray for people to work together for the good of the town and for all the citizens. Thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing for a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Okay, we'll call a regular scheduled town board meeting for 7:06. And Sandy, could you please read the roll?
Councilman Pavoni?
Here.
Councilwoman Schaefer?
She's absent.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Councilwoman Laura? Here. Supervisor Esposito?
Present. Also present is our attorney Gerard Parisi. Okay. Princetown River Town Board meeting is called to order at 7:06. And privileges of the floor. At every scheduled town board meeting, the public shall have the right to address the town board during the course of the meeting referred to as privileges of the floor. Members of the public should restrict their comments to items of town business. Although there is no official time constraint, speakers should be considerate of others so that all interested members of the public have an opportunity to be heard. There should be one portion of the meeting dedicated to privileges of the floor near the beginning of each meeting. All remarks and questions shall be addressed to the board. No person shall enter into discussion with the person having the floor. Council members may address any comments during the course of the meeting referred to as council member comments. Privilege of the floor is opened up at 7:07.
I have a comment. I see that
State,
there.
could you please state your
I'm so
name?
sorry, I'm Melanie Whiteley. I am just wondering about the bond coming up. So can you guys talk about the bond before you vote on it?
You're showing
There's a bond resolution in for the water?
Water bond.
Oh, that's the, yes, for the, we applied for a grant again for the water.
It's to apply for a grant?
Yes. For, we did it last year when we were rejected, and we, Doug Cole, our engineer, he put it up for resubmitted it, and that's what that's for.
Oh, okay.
We
All right.
probably won't get it again because our system is too new, but every year we're gonna put in for it. But we just reapplied again, and that's what that's for.
I didn't know. I was reading, I'm like, we're passing a bond? What are we doing? Okay, it's to apply for the grant. Got it. Thank you.
Any others?
I do, sir. Did everybody go? Hello, board. I'm Mike Gerasi. I'm a sergeant with the Schenectady Sheriff's Office. I'm here on behalf of Sheriff Dominic D'Agostino. We just want to show our support to the town and the board members. So we'll try to make every single meeting as we can. And if there's any concerns from the citizens and the board that the Sheriff's Office can assist with, we'd be more than happy to.
Well, we certainly do appreciate that, and I'll give Dominic a call and thank him, and when you see him, tell him thank you very much. We
Yeah.
certainly do appreciate that.
Absolutely. I had one thing. We are hosting the drug take-back later this month, next door at our substation. We'll post this if that's okay, maybe here. It's on our Facebook page as well. It's from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., so any old medications that you have that you want to give us, we take them and then dispose of them by burning those prescriptions. Saturday, October 26th.
You can also relay to Dominic if anytime he needs extra room over here for meetings. I know you don't have a lot of meeting room over there. You're more than welcome to use the.
That's great.
That's not being used, or the community room. I know the state police has been in here, and I've had meetings here before for whatever, and early in the morning, like 5 in the morning, they've been here for meeting to do whatever, and if he wants to use it, he's more than welcome to, so you can relay that information to him, and I'll tell him too, if
Great.
he needs it.
Excellent, thank you very much. It's very nice to meet all of you. So I can hang out. If there's any concerns speeding concerns, any concerns, law enforcement related that you have, whatever we can.
We'll meet you after. You're in town now.
I can't make any promises, but we will do our best.
Well,
Well, I'll just make one comment, is we have had a horrible time on Gifford Church, on Paul Hasbrook on Gifford Church Road. Speeding, reckless driving, just nuts at the corner of Gifford Church and Penguin Road. This has been going on for a long time, and I've seen in the last 2 weeks more of a presence from the sheriff's department.
Yes.
Is this new? Thank you.
We're trying to focus
Sit
more.
in my driveway, and you guys are gonna make a lot of money.
I'm gonna give you my card, and you're gonna call me and tell me where that is, and I'll make sure somebody's there.
If you don't stop, you run into it.
No one stops for the stop sign anymore. Somebody's gonna get killed there, and we've been trying to get somebody to respond to us for over 2 years, and the Schenectady County Legislature has not responded. Thank you. Tell Dominic, thank you.
I'll come up, I'll take a look, I'll give you one of my cards.
And also, you can remind Dominic that we do have a newsletter that gets mailed first class to everybody in the town of Princetown twice a year. And I'd love to have them contribute something to that, and some kind of a note, like this thing here that your poster, we could have put that in. Partially, it's my fault, I probably should have reached out to him, but, because I'm the editor, but, you know, we're doing another one in the spring. This is the fall one going out in October, but I'll do another one in the spring, and I'll shoot him a note, and we'll have him. He may want to write something up like that, would have been perfect to put in here, and I would have been happy to do that. So maybe we can get a regular contribution into the newsletter from the sheriff's department.
Absolutely.
That'd be good.
Yep, if I can give you one of my cards.
Yeah, I'll give you my card as well.
I'm sorry, I don't want to take over the
No,
meeting.
no, that's fine. We appreciate you being
You
here.
got all my,
Easy though.
Well, I don't want to put in a Brer Creek now.
That's my business card, my phone, my home phone.
Just stay away from Brer.
Is it too late for them to get anything?
Too late now, it's going to the printer.
Is there any way that we can post it on our webpage?
We could post things on the webpage, yeah.
yeah, actually, if we just
Ron?
posted it on our Facebook,
Oh,
you could
okay.
probably just pull it right off of that.
Okay, yeah, because maybe we can see if our webpage, webmaster can put that on.
This is perhaps a dumb question, but maybe there's somebody else in the room besides me who doesn't understand. How is the coverage shared between the state police and the sheriff's department for the town of Princetown?
So we actually have a very good working relationship with the state police. We share the calls, what it is, it's one centralized dispatch, which is out of Rotterdam.
Yep.
It's UCC, Unified Communication Center, and they will poll the air, they call it, for the closest car. So if the state trooper is at Pangburn and Giffords Church, and the sheriff's, deputy is in Dwaynesburg, and the call is at Pangburn and Giffords Church, they're gonna give the call to the state police. But we have had more of a presence in the rural area now, and in Princetown and Dwaynesburg, so the sheriffs have been picking up a lot of the call volume. So,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Is there any others? Okay, we'll close the privilege of the floor up at 7:14. Okay. Before we go into department committee reports, I have some excellent news I'd like to share with everybody in the town. I've been in contact with the county over the past month, and we all know that our full-time water commissioner has been in the hospital and has been very ill. And we did hire a new commissioner. Everybody knows now that it's Clark Collins. He was from the Rotterdam, retired, and he has the certification that far exceeds the ones we need for Princetown. And he's agreed to stay on, and we all know now that we've hired Wes Blessing and Preston Wheatley. They're going to be going into training, takes up to a year to be trained for their certification. Consists of classroom and on-the-job training. Clark is going to be doing the training, I think we positioned ourselves for the next decade and beyond, that our water department's gonna be turned over to people that are certainly gonna be well certified, and they're both lifelong residents of Princetown, although Preston is quite young. He's not as old as Wesley, but Wesley just retired from UPS, and he's fairly young too, so he's going to be available. They're both part-time positions at this time, and as is Clark's, and he's doing an excellent job getting things up to running speed. I'd like to thank Gene Brousseau. He was certainly instrumental in this transition. He certainly stepped up to the plate when we needed him. Thank you, Gene, for that. Now, I've been talking with the county for the past month, and I know this is going to be hard to believe, but the Schenectady County Legislature is going to give the town $50,000 for our water department to be used strictly for water repairs. I think that is something. I had the chairman of the Schenectady County Legislature over to our home today, and he gave us the contract, what it's got to be used for. It can only be used for the water department, which is what we're going to use it for. We have had some major repairs that had to be done, and the bills are starting to come in now. The water department is in excellent hands. All of the repairs have been made that had to be made, and we've got one major repair that has to be done, and I talked with Clark today. Now that we have these extra funds, we're going to be looking at repairing the water leak at the Reuter Drive tank, water tank, which has been leaking for a number of years. So now that we have this money to do this, he's going to go out and get some estimates on doing the repair. Is what they did in the meantime, they've lowered the water level in the tank so to stop it from leaking. But I think that this is something from the county, that they really stepped up and they helped us. I want to thank the chairman, Tony Jasinski, for this, and all of the Schenectady County Legislature for coming forward to help the town of Princetown. And I really think that's a significant amount of money to be giving our town for that. They already gave us all of the land next to the town hall, between here and the sheriff's department. I know the sheriff's department took some, but, and we ended up with the rest. This has been a very good year for Princetown as far as this goes. So I'm very, very, very pleased with this. And I don't know if anybody else has any comments on it, Jim?
Well, the deal with the water is, you know, we're always playing Russian roulette with the water because unfortunately we've had a lot of breaks because the bolts are breaking, the whole mechanisms are breaking, so we never know when it's going to come. And this time of year, right around October, November, we start to hold our breath and play Russian roulette, because if we get more water breaks than we have money allotted to take care of, we're in a panic mode, scrambling where are we gonna get it. So we were talking about actually taking out a line of credit to cover these things, but right now, thanks to the county's generosity, we're going to be able to avoid doing that. We're not even going to the bank, in fact. And you know, it's a great feeling, because these things, one thing we do know is that they break with regularity, and it's been happening a lot, and if we get a lot more than we anticipate, the numbers could be enormous. So it feels wonderful to have this breathing room, this extra $50,000 in our budget, so it's really a wonderful thing.
Where are the funds from? Is it like a grant? Is it Metroplex?
I have no idea, and I didn't ask, and it's none of our concern where it comes from. It's just coming from the county.
Well,
It's not Metroplex.
I was just curious. I mean, here's 50 grand for Princetown, like it's coming from somewhere. So I was just curious.
Well, they were aware of our water issues. They knew that we were scrambling, and you know, they're well aware of that, and it's just great. They're giving us a breathing room, so that's a really good thing.
It's good to know that they care about the infrastructure. There's nothing more important than our water system right now for those that are on it, for health reasons, obviously. And Lou, you and the whole board have obviously developed a tremendous relationship with the Schenectady County Legislature. And for all of us in Princetown, thank you.
Well, it is a significant amount of money for a small town for our water system to go. And like I said, it really is a blessing that they came through with this. I know Wes has been working on this for a long time now, working with Clark, along with Preston and Gene, and they've seen what's got to be done up there, and they've been working on it, and everything has been being repaired. I don't know, Wes, would you like to say something about the water system?
Well, after the meeting that we had with Doug Cole, have got all the repairs done except the rebuilding of the pressure reducing valve. Gene, if you want to expand on that, everything else.
We got the chloration done at South Silver.
Yep, that's going to be done tomorrow.
Right.
So.
I know they've been working very hard on this, getting everything up to speed, and we certainly appreciate it. We're very fortunate that we found Clark, and he's agreed to stay on as long as we need him. And he's gonna be training Wes and Preston, you know, on the job training as they need it, and they're gonna be starting the classroom training. So we're very fortunate that we found people that are willing to step up. And like I said, Gene certainly stepped up to the plate when we needed him, so.
And we had a water main break
And we did, and it was repaired within 4 hours, 4.5 hours it was done, am I correct, Wes?
Yeah, 4.5 hours.
On
The time it was
Dewinsburg Road.
reported till the time we walked away.
Yeah, so, I'm very pleased, and I just want to thank the Schenectady County Legislature for certainly stepping up and helping our small town out. Now, this is twice this year that they've helped our town out, along with the land that they deeded next to us, that we could possibly use for some type of a recreational purpose, or whatever we need it for. And now to help us out with our water, we do have a small water system as compared to the other towns and certainly the city. And like I said, Clark was one of 3 operators, and he was the lead operator in Rotterdam for a good number of years. And he certainly adopted very quickly to our system. He knew right off the bat, the first day he went in there, what was, how the system operated and what needed to be done. So we're very fortunate to have gained his services. I certainly do appreciate it. And just want to thank Rotterdam too, because they helped us out during the transition to helping out before we hired Clark. And I think it was an excellent choice we made so far. And hopefully in the next decade and beyond, the water system's going to be in good hands.
And Lou, can I just make one more comment? For such a young system, we've had a lot of issues over the years. There have been issues with the bolts, there have been water main breaks for many, many years, and I think we should also be thankful to George for all of that time that he spent and worked as well. The last few years, we've really, you know, we know that there's been issues that we're seeing now that are big repairs, but for a young system, we've chased repairs in this town, this system for a long time, and George worked tirelessly and put a lot of time into, so he should be commended as well.
Yeah, I did mention that in our newsletter. Jim, we're going to be looking at the newsletter and voting on it tonight before it goes to press.
Yeah, that is, we do recognize him in this newsletter, which, by the way, you'll be getting probably within 10 days in the mail. And also in the newsletter, we recognize Schenectady County, and we really, you know, when you look at what's going on nationally, and I don't care what your politics are, we're all different, we all belong to different political parties here, but yet we work together, we work with the county works with us, the county helps us with our purchasing agreements. I mean, it is just so nice to have governmental agencies work together without the animosity that's created by political differences. And there are political differences between the county and us, and even on this board, and yet they never show up. And I'll tell you, we're just delighted. And we are recognizing George Meade. He did a good job, and we wish him well. He's still recovering from his hospitalization.
So I think that that was, that's a really plus for our town, and like we said, we won't have to go out and borrow money to try to keep the system going. It's certainly a big help, and now we can get that tank repaired, which is gonna be quite costly. But, I've asked Clark to, look into it and see what the cost is gonna be, and he's gonna be working on that starting tomorrow, I guess, so, and like I said, everything is being up to speed, and, I'm very pleased with the way things are going. I also had to say, in the newsletter, I mentioned too, that, we had explored the possibility of giving water to, Willow Run and the surrounding roads. It became cost prohibitive because of the median income up there in Willow Run and the surrounding roads were too high to receive any grants from the federal government or the state at this time. That doesn't mean we've just abandoned that idea. We're just gonna have to look at other avenues and see if the people in that area is really interested in it. The cost would have to bring water up there would have been more than what they would have wanted to do, but we haven't given up hope on it yet, but maybe there would be some funds available as there was down here when they put the system in. A lot of people up there are looking for water, especially in Willow Run, that they don't have adequate water supplies. And they're very expensive homes up there, and even the surrounding area, roads are, a lot of people have asked me over the years if there's any possibility of getting water up there. But we'll just have to wait and see. The report is available. Put that in the newsletter too. The report's available if anybody wants to read it. Doug Cole did the study on it, and it's available. Anybody wants it. Sandy has it in her office, and it's available. Anybody wants to get it. That's all you have to do is FOIL for it. Okay, enough said about that, and I think that was something I'm glad there was enough people here to hear it, and I'm certainly pleased that we got this money, so. And we're gonna send out a nice thank you note to the county, I think we should. Doug, you got anything to say? Nicole?
Okay.
Okay.
I can actually add a thank you in the newsletter because it hasn't gone to the publisher, the printer yet. So if you want me to do that, I can do that tomorrow too.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay, I'll do that.
I think we should.
Because I'm gonna send some copies to the legislature.
Yeah.
I'll send a couple dozen copies over there.
Yeah, he's gonna give that part of the newsletter to him tonight.
Yeah, good.
That you sent over to him?
Yeah.
He told me he's gonna make copies of it and give it to their meeting tonight too, county's meeting tonight. Okay, department committee reports. Highway.
No problem with the roads. The only thing, I got a call from the state, and they're gonna pave Gifford Church Road next year from Route 20 all the way to Gilderland Avenue. And they were a little concerned. They want us to call them, which I gave Gene the number, or you got that, to verify where all the shutoffs are. So they don't want to do any damage to our water pipes, That's about it. So.
And we also talked about the driveway out here, that's gonna be.
Yeah, I saw a lot of water there now.
Yeah,
We'll probably get at it this week or next week, for sure.
and then we're gonna dig that line in to
Yep.
tie in.
I'm all set for that, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
You got it there?
Yeah, I'll get it, I'll just go down to Wahlberg and get it.
If we have a machine there, the other thing, we probably should push that barrier just over a foot or two, because I'm a little concerned that that's gonna bottleneck when we get snow. When you're pulling in, I trimmed that bush down a couple days ago and got that trimmed, so it's a little bit wider, but I just don't want anybody to run into that thing.
Okay, we're gonna have to remove that when we
You're gonna have to
do
remove
digging the
that
water.
when you plow.
What,
You're gonna have to move that to plow. You can't have that there when you plow. How you gonna plow the driveway?
Well, they just usually
Oh,
go
you
right
go
up to
around
the fence. Huh? They're going up to the fence and they quit, they're gone.
Yeah.
We just plow that and who plows our lot? Just plow it open. Well, we gotta, all that's gotta come out when I fix the water draws coming out of the ground. And then we'll put it back. Whatever we gotta do with it,
Okay.
About it.
Any other questions for Nick?
No.
Okay. Water, this is from Clark. And we had a water main break on Route 7 on Saturday, September 14, 2019. The main was repaired and back in service in 4 hours. This was only accomplished by the swift reaction to the situation by West Blessing. He and Preston Wheatley got the water main shut off and called Larner Construction during the repair. Preston worked along with Larner's crew to fix the crack in the main. A stainless steel wrap was used to correct the situation, and the main was put back into service. Members of the board were on site, which is greatly appreciated by the water crew. Doug Gray was on hand during the water main break, which is always appreciated. Doug Gray and I have worked many big breaks over the years, and to have him available with his vast knowledge is always welcome. Lastly, by the board members showing up, it demonstrated their concern for all our residents and the safety of all involved. Its gallons pumped were 1,540,360, daily average 51,453. That's Clark's summary. Code enforcement. This is from Tom Marini. Total permits 1, permits issued 1, permit inspection fees collected $40, inspections 16, code zoning inspections 1, fire inspection 0, final building inspection 0, certificates of occupancy compliance, bank deposit report September, October, $1,449, check to supervisor account $3,000, checkbook balance as of October 8, 2000, $206.24, activities and zoning, working on complaints as needed, working on planning and zoning as needed, working on permit final inspection as needed, reviewing plans as needed. Thomas Verrilli, building inspector. If anybody would like him to come in, he's with some people out now that are working on some permits, but after he's done, he can certainly come in if the board has any questions for us.
Okay.
Everybody good with that report? Okay. Our dog warden.
Hey, had a call on Skyline Drive from a guy whose dog, he usually stays on the property, but he was missing. He was concerned about it because he's had him for about 11, 12 years. It never happened. And got a call after trying to put word out. About 2 days later, troopers called me in the morning, and they had a resident on Kelly Station Road that had a dog that fit the same description. It turned out I contacted the owner. The owner met me at the house, got the dog contained in the car, and it was his dog, and it was a good thing. It was his birthday, so he was very happy to reunite with his dog a couple of days after. And then had another call over on, it was a gentleman that found a dog at the truck stop wandering around, and he brought him over into Princetown to his house. And the sheriff's contacted me the next day and went over and met the guy there. Took the dog, put the word out on social media like I usually do. There's plenty of people out there that know about this dog, and I got a feeling that maybe somebody just dumped him off at the truck stop. It was a Shih Tzu, which is the kind of dog people would definitely be looking for if they lost. So I think somebody just either abandoned it, or maybe a trucker just couldn't wait but never looked into it. But that dog was taken down to the Animal Protective Foundation, and he's probably still down there now. I haven't heard anything from them. And one other thing is just a reminder that on the 19th, the Rabies clinic is going to be held for any residents of the county. It's going to be free to them. They just got to show proof that they live in the county. And from 10 to 11 is cats and ferrets. And then 11 to 12 is dogs.
Where is it?
We'd like to see you there, Lou, because it's a big fun time. It's going to be right here at the town hall.
You can bring your
Yeah,
ferret there, Lou?
Yeah, it's going to be held here, so I put a post out on my page for that also. And you usually get a lot of people for that. I think there's more down the city, but for out here in the rural area, there's quite a few people that come from the surrounding areas and towns. There was quite a few animals here the last time. So that's about it.
That's more than you've had in,
I know, the whole year.
in 3 months.
No more
4 months.
Maytag repairman, you know, just sitting around idle. Got busy, it's what always happens, it rains, it pours. Cats and dogs.
And ferrets.
And ferrets, yeah.
Well, thank you. Any questions for Ben?
No.
Okay, Court, Michelle?
The monthly report for September is about the same as last month, about 16,982. We're about the same. We received about 64 tickets so far for the month of October. I submitted to the Justice Court Assistance Program a grant application this week. Documentation was sent yesterday by fax, and today I received an email from the analyst that asked that the resolution be redone. And as you can see, that's part of one of the resolutions in the agenda. I sent Sandy a copy of the specific language that OCA needed in the resolution, so I apologize to have you guys have to do it again. I think one of the words that said it applied for Michelle Van Wert to apply for the grant, where it had to say the Princetown Justice Court applied for the grant, so that had to be specific, and they wouldn't process it until it was redone. So,
Explain what the grant is for everybody that,
Sure. The Justice Court Assistance Program is a program that the Office of Court Administration offers for courts in the state to ask for money up to $30,000 per justice, or $60,000 combined grant. This year, the court, through the Office of Court Administration's security, or I should say the audit that we had done, they had required or requested the court to actually have their records separate from the town records for purposes of confidentiality. And we've talked about the closet down the hall being converted into a secured room with not specifically as a vault, but as a secured closet. So we are applying for the grant to include shelving, and we have construction materials that have to be put up in order to put the shelving, a safe. Besides that, we are requesting for a full walk-through metal detector for the town hall. The only issue with that is that in order to have that grant for that particular item, you actually have to have a person who is actually a trained, either an armed security guy or a police officer to operate it. So just the regular person in town couldn't do it unless they were a security officer. So our guy that we have on court nights will be perfectly qualified to operate it on court nights. So that, and I want to get those little bank things to keep people in the right way. So that's pretty much the majority of it. It's about between $5,000 and $6,000 grant, so. And I think we added it to our budget. And just one last thing, don't forget the week of, and it's in the newsletter, the week of October 21st through the 25th is National School Bus Safety Week. Kids are back in school, school buses are out there, and I noticed that a lot of them are now when they stop in the middle of the lane, which is kind of like preventative of anybody trying to pass them. I was following a school bus yesterday and I thought, oh, that's pretty good. Nobody's gonna get around him, but the article will be running in the newsletter for this fall. Right, Jim?
Yes, and you'll be surprised at the level of fines and potential imprisonment. They've really taken this, they've always taken it seriously, but even more so this year. There's a big push to stop people from running through stopped school buses. So I was quite surprised to see the level of fines, even on first offense, and there's even a potential for imprisonment. So it'll be interesting to read, and again, you'll have your newsletter in about 10 days.
So I don't know. But, okay. Hopefully, they're not making any mistakes from one of our former school bus drivers.
Can I just touch on the school bus issue? In May of this year and September 30th, we conducted some pretty good enforcement with school buses. We actually had officers on the bus, 3 different buses, and we had 2 officers in marked units following quite a distance behind. We did Princetown and Duanesburg in an attempt to catch violators passing stop school buses. There was 100% compliance, which is perfect in my book. But we're out there and we are doing some heavy enforcement with Duanesburg School District, and we have a very good partnership with them. So just so you guys know what's going on. Thank you, Board.
Any questions for Michelle? Okay. The assessor's not here tonight. Buildings and ground, we've been doing the major renovation over the state police building for the processing room. That was completed by Doug Thorpe. I mentioned this last meeting, I think. That's been completed. Some minor repairs have to be done right now. We're renegotiating their contract for the next 5 years. The state police wants to renew the lease, so that's a good thing, and they're gonna be around for the next 5 years. So we're just working out the details right now, along with our attorney here, so that's gonna be done. I did get an email from the supervisor in Duanesburg on Van Patten Road, is it Sandy? Van Patten Road?
Yes.
He wants $1,000 from the town to plow the end of Van Patten Road, which is part of Princetown. I don't even think it's a quarter of a mile. They have to come up that way anyway. There's no place to turn around and exit onto Route 7 and head back towards Duanesburg. But, they want $1,000 to do that. And I called Potter, who does, Rich Potter, who does Overlook. He's gonna give us an estimate on that, to do that. That small section seems kind of high.
1,000 for the year, or
Well, it was 1,000 for the year, but it's not even, they gotta come up that way. We haven't paid them anything for years and years now, it's been going on. I don't know, they gotta come up that way, and it's less than a quarter of a mile that they have to plow. I don't understand, they want $1,000 to do it. I mean, to me, it's just petty, but I'm gonna see if Potter wants to do it. I asked the county to give us a price, and they can't turn around down in there. They said they'd have to go all the way into Duanesburg to turn around. Just as Duanesburg would have to come all the way up to Route 7 to turn around and head down. So they're coming up that way anyway, doing the whole road. I don't know, they want $1,000, but I'll see if we can get another price to do that small section in there.
No, we got the same situation with Rotterdam, they're doing it for nothing over in, out there. They gotta go through there anyway.
I know,
Plow their road. There's nowhere to turn around.
there's no way to turn around on there either.
It's surprising. We've been doing all these years, they never did, charge us before, never questioned it.
Well, what's $1,000 if they're salting it and everything?
I don't know if they're salting it or not. I have no idea what they're doing on there, but to me it seems, they gotta come up that way anyway, So what do? They lift the plow up to run the extra less than a quarter of a mile? To me, it just.
I'll call the highway superintendent up and check with him, see what it's all about,
All right. that's
He's a pretty
idea.
good guy, I get along with him. To just
Okay.
see why they came up with this is unusual, Okay.
They used to charge us.
Years and years ago.
It's been, it was a long time, but they used to, and that was the deal, if you didn't pay them, they'd pull the plow. It was $500 or something when I was supervisor, if I remember right, but I don't know where it fell through the cracks, but yeah, they used to charge us for that.
Yeah, it was years and years ago they did that. They haven't charged us for a good number of years.
I mean, I don't disagree that it's kind of silly, they
It is.
they
To
can't
me,
turn
it's
around,
just-
but, I don't know.
To me, it's,
I'm sure Nick can make an arrangement with this guy, I'm sure, it's just crazy.
to me, it doesn't, you know,
But they
like
did
I
do some
said.
charges, I know for a fact that they did, so.
Okay, we got a leak in the roof over here, a major leak developed this past week. I haven't had a chance to look at it or have anybody come up and look at it yet, so, that has to be taken care of before winter. I don't know, it was leaking quite a bit from what Sandy told me. I didn't see it that day. I was a little under the weather and sick for the past week, so. But we're gonna have to look at that. Other than that, any questions? No. Okay, public hearing to allow comments regarding the 2020 preliminary budget for the town of Princetown. We'll open the public hearing up at 7:45. I might add that we're not having any town tax. Anybody wants a copy of it, it'll go forward. We do have to have a public hearing next month with, I was informed that we were gonna pass the contract with Plotterkill, but we didn't schedule a public hearing on it, but I guess we have to have a public hearing on it. So we're gonna do that next month. It's basically, it's the same contract that it has been the previous 5 years. They're asking for a 2% increase, which is minor and it'll only affect the residents up in that district. It doesn't affect the ones down here, that's Pine Grove and Duanesburg and Pattersonville. So, in their commission district, am I correct? And we don't have anything to say about that. That's set by the commissioners, right?
Correct.
So we have nothing to say about that. But up there we do, and I don't think, I think the price for it was gonna increase very minimal at the 2%. So, but that'll be the, public hearing will be next month. In our budget, everything stays the same. We did give a small increase to the staff here. For years, 17 years, I think it's been since we gave them any kind of a raise, so we did give a 2% raise. And it's not going to affect our budget that much. All of the rest stays the same. As far as monies for repairs and work on the state police building, the town hall, roads stayed the same. Actually, we didn't spend any money on the roads this year. We're pretty well caught up, other than a couple of roads that haven't been done up in Willow Run. Actually, only Brookside is the only road that's left up there. And so we're in pretty good shape here with the roads, so I'm not anticipating a large amount of money being doled out for that. The state police building, as I said last month, they want a few things done that's gonna be costly over there, but that's the parking lot, and the parking lot is a big one, both front and back, so, but we'll see what we can do with that. Other than that, everything stayed the same, and there is no tax increase, there's no tax at all in Princetown, as we all know. And once again, we still don't have a town tax, so.
We did get excited when Charter contacted us and we had to renegotiate our deal with them. And they told us that a franchise fee would bring us between $25,000 and $30,000, which would have been wonderful for our budget. However, as we delved into it deeper, we found out, I thought Charter just took that out of their money and gave it to us. No, what they do is they reach right into your pocket and they take money from each and every one of you and they give it to us. And since we've all taken a pledge for no town taxes, we felt that would be against the pledge that we took, and we denied that offer for a franchise fee. So most people in Schenectady County, most people in New York State, when they pay their cable bill, they have to pay a franchise fee, which goes directly to the local government. But it's just added to your cable bill. And I'm pretty sure everybody here in the town of Princetown feels that their cable bills are high enough. So we declined that offer. But we were excited for a short time when we thought it was coming from Charter. We should have known it does not. So you're not gonna get hit with that.
As a matter of fact, I did get a call from some residents up on Duanesburg Road. Apparently, when the Princetown cable first went in, we gave them cable up there, and they were in Duanesburg, and they wanted to know why we charged a franchise fee. And I said, we don't charge a franchise fee in Princetown, because they called it Princetown Cable. I said, we have nothing to do with that. I said, you live in Duanesburg, you gotta, because they charge a franchise fee in Duanesburg. I said, you gotta call your supervisor in Duanesburg and ask him about that. And they said, why does it say Princetown? And I said, I have no idea, other than the fact that they may have allowed you to have it at the time, and it was under Princetown Cable. I said, but now that it's Charter, so I said, you're gonna have to call them, we've got nothing to do with it. So,
they're not charging us the fee, right?
no.
Well, no, that would have been up to us. We
That
would
would have
have,
been up to the town, we declined that. We didn't think that the residents would like that at this stage. If it was gonna be done, it should have been done when the cable company, when Princetown Cable first came in. But it wasn't done then, so it's not a good thing to even think about it right now. Like you said, Jim said, that cable prices are as high as they should be, as far as I'm concerned.
we're one of the only communities that doesn't accept a franchise fee.
In all of New York State. Really, every, as a matter of fact, most of the towns charge a franchise fee for garbage. For a garbage company to come in and operate in your town, they charge a franchise fee. City does, well, the city collects their own, but a lot of the towns do that. You just can't come in and pick up garbage, you know, the town wants, or the city or the villages want their money. So they charge a fee to the garbage companies, who in turn just turn it back to the residents of the town. So, is there any questions on the budget? Anybody wants a copy of it? It's available. So all you have to do is ask Sandy if you got something.
Is the 50,000 added to the water district?
No, not yet, no, because we haven't got it yet.
Okay, so you're
We'll
not
get
gonna,
the check
so
until
basically you're not gonna add it at this point, or this year, you're not
No,
gonna
it's
show
going
it?
on this year.
Oh, it's gonna be
Yeah, it's
shown?
gonna be added before we ratify the budget, which will be in the next meeting.
So then you're gonna wind up with about a $63,000 fund balance on it?
Yeah, it's gonna be, but they told me as soon as as soon as we get this signed, which it's already been notarized, and I'm gonna bring it down tomorrow, we'll get the check immediately. It's not gonna be like we waited for the handicapped accessible doors 3 years. It's gonna be done, so they'll cut the check right there, so, which is good.
Excellent.
So if anybody wants a copy of the budget, they're more than welcome to have it. There's plenty of copies of saying, so all you have to do is ask. And that'll be that. Is there any other questions on the public hearing? So can we close that? Yeah, it is. We'll close the public hearing then at, what is that? Let's see it. 7:52. Meeting minutes, it is hereby resolved that the meeting minutes of the September 10, 2019 regular town board meeting are approved or as amended. Discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passed. Marriage certificate, fee waiver. This is from the governor. I guess he passed a law that, a regulation, and says we can't charge a fee if you're in the service. Which we have no objection.
Active duty,
Active duty.
active duty only.
Active duty only. That's what this is about. It is hereby resolved to be consistent with the recent legislation of the state of New York and to recognize the service of our active military personnel, the town board of the town of Princetown hereby authorize the town clerk to waive the town's portion of any marriage license fee for active duty military personnel.
Excellent.
Any discussion?
Good.
Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Town court grant application. Is hereby resolved, the town board of the town of Princetown hereby approves the town of Princetown Justice Court to apply for the 2019-2020 Justice Court Assistance Program grant to the Office of Court Administration, OCA, up to $30,000 per five for the cost of construction for the court secure vault from the storage closet, and to include the purchase of a safe, shelving, walk-through metal detector, and rope barriers to control the flow of people into the town hall for court night. Michelle already went through all of this, so is there any discussion on it, further discussion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second? Sandy?
Councilman Pavolli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Bond resolution. I don't know if we have to read this whole thing over here. I can explain to you what it was. We're applying for that grant again that we were denied last year from the state, where they, I guess they gave up to $100,000 last year to Rotterdam, if I'm not mistaken, according to the paper. And we were declined, and the reason being is that our system is too new, and we scored probably the lowest of anybody in the state as far as getting money for redoing the water system. But Doug Cole thought it would be to our advantage to keep putting it in, so we did. They sent back a letter that stated that we had to redo the resolution, and so we did. He wrote up a new resolution, and I don't think anybody wants me to read this whole thing, do they? Thank you.
Without love in their heart, no.
I'll just read the first part. Bond resolution dated October 8, 2019. They didn't give us much time to do this. It's got to be done by the 13th. October 13th, that date means something, doesn't it, Cheryl?
No.
Happy birthday.
You get to apply for a bond. Yay, for a grant.
A resolution authorizing the issuance of $1,214,500 bonds of the town of Princetown pursuant to local finance law to finance the $1,214,500 estimated maximum cost of improvements to the municipal water system referred to as a consolidated water district number 1 of the town of Princetown. We were asking for this, and Doug Cole estimated that's what it would cost to redo the whole system, and the bands, bolts, and whatever else has to be done. And, you know, he did the whole system, and we've been repairing as it's been breaking, so I'd be quite shocked if we end up with anything, but that's it. Is there any further discussion on it?
Just that we did the math, and it does make sense. If we could bond this out at the current low interest rates, which right now are ridiculously low, this would give us an opportunity to make all the repairs that are required, and they're gonna be required. Probably we're gonna replace everything eventually anyway, but it makes sense. We looked at it carefully, and it does make sense if we get it. It's a long shot, and like Lou said, it's probably not likely.
And this is the mother district, this is District 1, right? Not the extensions? So that's good.
So they're, like I said, last year we scored, Doug Cole thought we should do it again. So it doesn't cost us anything to do it other than passing a resolution authorizing them to do it. They didn't give us much time to redo it. We turned it in, it's the same as last year he did. Doug took care of this whole thing, and they sent us a letter back saying it has to be done differently. The resolution has to say something different. So he wrote this up and sent it over to Sandy today. And this is it. Any further discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Sandy, this has to be sent to Doug. Okay, thank you. All right, this is a call for the public hearing. We discuss this. It's hereby resolved, the town board of the town of Princetown hereby calls for a public hearing on November 12, 2019, 7 p.m. at 165 Princetown Plaza, Schenectady, New York, to consider entering in a contract for fire protection services with Plotterkill Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated for Princetown Fire Protection District Number 2.
I just have to add to that, the town clerk is hereby directed to publish notice of the public hearing at least once, in at least one newspaper having general circulation in the fire protection district.
Got all that, Sandy?
I got it written down somewhere.
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Councilman
Sandy?
Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Approval of the town newsletter. Everybody got a copy of it? Jim, you wrote most of it, so,
I'll abstain, I can't vote on it.
well, I wrote it too, so, we still have to vote it. I mean, I know you wrote it, but
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
really you should, you know.
Can I vote on it? I mean, since
Why not? I mean, it's gotta be approved by the town board before we can go forward with it. The reason we did this, we passed a resolution years ago that the newsletter has to be approved by the town board. Years ago, it was used more as a political, anybody who was here years ago knows what I'm talking about, so that's why we passed this resolution. And I was the one who pushed for that, as a matter of fact, that the town board has to approve the newsletter before it goes to press. So,
Yeah, you're not gonna see anything in the newsletter that's of political nature. We try to do it as a community newsletter. We try to feature one or two key people in the community at every newsletter. We try to give you, like this newsletter, you're gonna read a lot about some really interesting historical facts. I mean, we actually had 3 post offices and 2 hotels in this town. But anyway, there's no politics, so that's a good thing. And this is just a review to make sure that there's no politics, so everybody, that's the reason we have to approve it.
is there any other,
I made the motion.
oh, there's a second?
Yes.
Okay, Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes.
May I say something? I was given an advance copy of the newsletter.
Martha always gets an advanced copy. She's my assistant editor.
Well, he's giving me too much credit. I was impressed. You seem to have a far-reaching bunch of resources here, and I was impressed with the scope that you were able to cover in that newsletter.
Thank you, Martha.
You were one of them. The sheriff's department.
Okay, general funds claim is hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 191 through number 210 in the amount of $16,664.36. Discussion,
I make a motion.
for a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yes.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Water funds claim is hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 85 through number 103 in the amount of $9,056.37. Discussion, is there a motion?
I'll make it.
And a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes, resolution passes. Trust and agency fund claim is hereby resolved, the town board approves claim number 11 in the amount of $145 Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make it.
Sandy? Oh, is there a second? Is there a second? I'll second it.
Councilman Convoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Moore?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. We got this other resolution that the town board has to pass to accept the $50,000 from the county. Because this just came up today. And Gerard just wrote it up, so I'll try to read his writing.
Let him read. He's the lawyer.
You wanna read it? Sure. Okay.
It is hereby resolved that the town board of the town of Princetown hereby authorizes the supervisor to execute a public benefit services agreement with the county of Schenectady, New York, to accept funds not to exceed $50,000 for the purpose of making necessary infrastructure improvements as part of a water system infrastructure improvement project.
Discussion? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Or a second?
Second.
Sandy?
Councilman Convoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Moore?
Yes.
Councilman Gray?
Yeah.
Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Resolution passes. Sandy, could I have a copy of that after so I can give it to the county, that we accepted it, the resolution?
Yeah, and I'm done with it.
Yes. Thank you. Council members' comments or discussion? Doug?
I have none.
Oh, okay.
Jim?
No, I just want to reiterate the fact that I'm delighted that we have such a good working relationship with Schenectady County. I mean, and it benefits every single person in this town in ways that you really don't even know, through purchasing, through shared services, through a lot of other things. In addition to all the wonderful things they've done just in the last 6 months, the land over here and the infrastructure support. So they're to be commended. That's the way I love to see government work, and it just drives me nuts when I watch the news at night and see how our federal government doesn't seem to work that way. But anyway, on a local level, we're blessed. We really are. We've got a good county government, and I'm delighted about that.
I think that was well said, and like I said, I'm very pleased with our relationship with the county. I can't be more pleased, especially since the land has already been deeded to us, and now this $50,000 to help the town out. It certainly is something that we definitely appreciate. And I'm certainly glad that our water department is going to be in fine shape for the next decade and beyond. So.
And this board consists of 3 different political parties sitting right on this one board. So it's not some kind of we're all on the same board type thing. It's just nonpartisan support. It's just great.
No, that's all I have to say about it, and I'd just like to say thank you again to the county. Thank you for the people in the water department. They're certainly dedicated people now, and they have been. So I thank Gene again. He really stepped up to the plate. So we're fortunate enough to gain the services of Clark and Wesley and Preston that want to become operators, so certified operators. I'm very pleased with that.
We actually had to stop Gene from crawling down in those underground vaults, and he kept wanting to go down. And we said, Gene, you got let one of the younger guys do it. We actually had to stop him a couple times. So you're to be commended just for your physical ability to do that. I don't think I could crawl down there.
That's true. After George was in the hospital and was taken out, Gene was calling me every day, letting me know what was going on before we hired Clark, and I certainly did appreciate that. He kept me informed on everything, so thank you, Gene. Okay, executive session, we have none. And has anybody got anything else? else? Okay, it is hereby resolved that the town board meeting is adjourned. Is there a,
I'll make the motion.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Sandy?
Councilman Pavoldi?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mora?
Yes.
Councilman Gray? Supervisor Esposito?
Yes. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.
Good morning.